Welcome everybody to MtM20. I was just talking for about 5 minutes with my mic not unmuted, so we're gonna go ahead and run this back from the top for YouTube.
You know
basically.
what? I didn't hear anything. You know.
So we're gonna run it back. People are gonna
be without you backdropping me. I did say when you're asking for the guy's name, I said just give me his home address and I'll get you his name, and that has no context.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's pretty good.
That's true. So yeah, the VOD's gonna be confusing, but I will say I didn't unmute myself because I'm so damn excited for tonight. Because welcome to the tavern. We are going to be comparing 2024 Wizards of the Coast Ranger to a revised version that we here at MtM20 have done and have made. So let's go ahead and from the top, XP level 3. They covered the 2024 Ranger, kind of like a lot of the kind of cliff notes, a lot of the kind of the recent, because a lot of the people, they don't have full access to the actual book. It's more of like kind of like the D&D Beyond, what they kind of posted and kind of the direction they're kind of explaining what you're gonna see in the book. So it's not like 100% what the book says or is, but it's damn near. It's pretty close. So let me go ahead. So Jacob kind of goes through and explains it all. Which we're actually going to kind of just watch, and we're not going to necessarily like watch the video together. We're just I'm just using his video as kind of just the cliff notes we're going to use to kind of compare back and forth. Also, if you ever watch this, Jacob, hey, I hope that maybe you can see our version of Ranger and maybe implement it or take some inspiration from it or whatever it is. That'd be really cool. Feel free, hey, anybody watching this, feel free to take this. I will definitely be publishing it on the channel, so you all can use it if you so desire. Okay. This time for real.
This time for real. We heard you, so that's good.
This time, yeah. I'm really glad that we weren't 30 minutes in, because that would have been just awful if I was still muted.
Pretty funny.
All right. I'm just gonna go ahead and skim through this because he obviously gives his wonderful commentary, and I'm pretty sure there's a sponsor in here. Yeah, there is. Okay, we're gonna skip through this here. All right. You have the PDF open there, Connor?
I do. You'll notice by the way my screen goes.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's crazy about this, what also frustrated me about this video as well, is that they add a lot of like jargon flavor text bullshit like Wizards of the Coast does, and as I read it you'll be like, why are they doing? They're literally making it like your buddy at a party is trying to like convince you that this dog shit 2024 version of this class is somehow good, and these features are somehow good. He's like
trying to sell you on Amway.
Dude, 100%, dude. It's weird. It's weird. So okay, so first things first. I would like to actually kind of highlight a couple things that I changed outside of the features. So for the class Ranger. We're going through the PDF. Hit points stayed the same. No real difference. No reason to make any difference. Saving throws, I actually switched it from strength and dex to dexterity and wisdom.
Wisdom's their spellcasting.
The wisdom's their spellcasting mod, okay. And it didn't make a whole lot of sense to have your half caster not have a saving throw in their spellcasting ability. I thought that was weird, so I actually switched it to dexterity and wisdom instead of strength and dexterity.
Yeah, I think every other half caster does, because I think Paladin has charisma save, and I think Warlock has charisma save.
I think so as well. That would only make sense to me. I'm gonna look at this. Obviously,
yeah. I'm very willing to be wrong here.
This is the 2014
mainly because I'm just so used to it.
Wait, oh, saving throw. Oh no, sorry, I was on a cleric. Hold on. I was about to be like, wait a minute, no. Yeah. So for Paladin, wisdom and charisma.
Okay, so charisma is their spellcaster.
I'm a little surprised that the Paladin is wisdom and charisma. When I homebrew the Paladin, or when I make my own version of the 2024 Paladin, I might switch it to strength and charisma because I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll have to think about that. But regardless, for this, I feel like Ranger, that makes sense, right?
The Ranger needs all the help he can get. The Paladin doesn't necessarily need the better proficiency in a saving throw.
That's
the
true.
Ranger needs any kind of subsidy he can get. So, makes sense.
Yeah. So, also a big thing, skills, choose 3. I believe I added acrobatics, because acrobatics wasn't on this list. I think it was just animal handling, athletics, insight, investigation, nature, perception, stealth, and survival. So I added acrobatics because that
Okay.
yeah. Light armor,
Makes
medium
sense.
armor, shields the same, weapons are the same. I did add one choice of artisan's tools as a starting for the class. I thought that would just make sense, kind of just given the class of the ranger. So that's why
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't see why every class doesn't have some version of that anyway.
Yeah, so and that's a big thing I'm adding to a lot of the classes that I'm updating also, is if it makes sense to me. Now, obviously, your background can give you tool proficiencies, but I feel like some classes, it's like, well, as a class, it would make sense just inherently in that role for you to be able to kind of choose and kind of flavor what it is that you're dabbling in, just in that class itself.
Right, even if it's like a fletching kit or like some type of like a leather working or something.
Exactly.
Especially for the ranger being out on your own, they need to be self-sufficient.
100%. I agree. 100%. So starting equipment, yeah, whatever. Okay, so class features. Here we are. All right. So spellcasting is pretty much the same. I'm not gonna read through this wall of text.
Okay.
I will say one of the big updates to Ranger is the fact that there's a lot more spells prepared. I think for actually all the half casters, they kind of upped the amount of spells prepared. And even with the new versions of a lot of these classes, they're just kind of having prepared spells. There's no like prepared spells list, known spells, you're choosing and doing all this. It's just like, here are the spells that you have prepared all the time. So that's a good update.
Okay.
So we won't go into spellcasting, it's pretty much the same. But Deft Explorer,
Okay.
what happened here? I know that they switched it, I think.
Well,
I'm clicking through this video here.
I have like 3 different areas all my books are in. So I got 2014.
Okay, so first things first. Oh, actually, can I? Okay, so I'm just gonna start reading this. So this is from the video. So the 2024 Ranger and Hunter's Mark. The 2024 Player's Handbook strengthens the Ranger's class relationship with its trademark spell, Hunter's Mark. Several of the 2024 Ranger's base class features, Relentless Hunter, Precise Hunter, and Foe Slayer, all power up your Ranger while Hunter's Mark is active. Also, the spell now deals force damage on a hit. Okay. Cool. So they were just, it's still the whole like we're blending Hunter's Mark into the class. Now going down, favorite enemy, level 1. Favorite enemy has seen some significant changes. This feature no longer focuses on tracking and recalling information about certain creature types or learning their language, though you can learn 2 new languages with the Depth Explorer feature below. Instead, you can now cast Hunter's Mark twice per long rest without expending a spell slot, and you always have it prepared. This will make it much easier to keep up with the barbarian, fighters, and paladins and damage output without having to spend your precious spell slots to do it. With a new spellcasting feature, you could already prepare more spells than before. With the new favorite enemy, you also prepare the Ranger's trademark spell for free. You'll get more free casting of Hunter's Mark as you level up. So, I remember we read this.
Concentration still, so.
Yeah, I remember we read this in the Unearthed Arcana when we were discussing it, and though I like this concept, and we kind of talked about this a little bit offline, I think it's a cool concept of them kind of blending it into the class, but you do run into a lot of issues where it's like, for instance, you only can cast it a certain amount of times. You know, before you then have to cast it for a cost of something. It literally says twice. I think in the Unearthed Arcana, I think it was Wisdom mod. Now it's just twice.
I believe you're right. Which I think they stated it levels up as you level up.
Right.
So, that is reasonable enough. Like, I'll give them that. Like, oh, it grows. This is your main thing. But, like, we don't want it to be too broken, so it's only going to grow so much. Also, theoretically, Hunter's Mark is flat damage increased every time you hit, for every hit, not just one attack. If you have multi-attack, it's going to give it to you every attack. Rangers don't really fucking have that much. But yeah, I get their hesitancy to give you, theoretically, a fairly boring amount of flat damage bonus. But if they're worried about that, don't make Hunter's Mark the biggest thing for the Ranger.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know why they're doing, was it force damage for Hunter's Mark?
Yeah, it's force damage, I think, mainly to kind of like get over some immunities and resistances. Right. I know force damage is now like with the new 2024 book, it's kind of like the the kind of catch-all like force damage instead of is just kind of like the damage that is like pushes through resistances and it's kind of just like that is like an all-encompassing damage.
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. It can get to be a little much to keep track of, but it's not that bad. It is, again, because I remember going through, which we have the VODs of when we went through this class on Unearth and Arcana.
Yeah.
The first couple levels, I still maintained momentum of the Ranger's getting something.
Yeah.
He changed. He's getting something.
Yeah.
Oh, he's get these for free. He's getting something. But then as you dig further in, it is a version of like this isn't a big increase. With Hunter's Mark, it isn't.
Right.
I don't, because the Warlock and Hunter's Mark. I remember that distinctly.
Right, and the thing with Hunter's Mark being a base thing is still like the concentration is the big one, right? You can cast it it 2 times for free, but you roll once shitty on a concentration check. I realize I'm sitting super low. You roll once.
I was about to say.
You roll shitty once on a concentration check, boom, now you're already half out of your resource that's supposed to keep you in par. Like I said, the verbiage is always kind of strange here. It's like making it much easier to keep up with the barbarians, fighters, and paladins and damage output. Brother, maybe early game, but when the paladin's casting 7d6 for the smite at like 10th level, Hunter's Mark staying baseline 1d8 isn't going to do you much good.
It's going to do you... It is barely good when it comes to level like 1 through 5. When you get the extra attack, it does get a bump at level 5, right? Because you're getting 2 attacks, it's proccing for both, it feels good, it feels great. It's also a little bit limiting in that sense, which is a problem I have with Hunter's Mark being a trademark thing.
It's a D6.
A fighter can take his 2 attacks and hit this guy and be like, ah shit, I need to hit this guy. Maybe it's because they're doing a maneuver, they want to trip that guy, they want to do something, whatever. They are not impacted negatively for not hitting the same guy twice. I mean, there's things like action economy and initiative orders and things like that, but everyone worries about that. Hunter's Mark, it's like, I have it cast on that guy who is now behind cover.
Yep.
Well, effectively, I'm wasting this turn firing it or repositioning or whatever. Like, things happen, right? But it's also like, I'm gonna do a little bit more damage to Joe Bob. Joe Bob's behind a barrel, casting a spell to make himself invisible. That's gonna suck. Obviously, Hunter's Mark gives you a little bit of benefits there, but still, you're just like, all right, I guess I'm gonna shoot Joe Bob's friend Dave for just basic damage.
Right, and now it's the gating kind of it's only 1d6 more. I thought it was d8. It's only 1d6. So you're literally if you're not targeting that creature, then it can die out pretty quickly. And I think and I will disagree. I do think that Hunter's Mark is extremely good in the 1 to 3, 1 to 5 levels. I know you were saying you're kind of agreeing, but I think I'm kind of like adding on to the top of that. I think it's very good.
You're saying it's, because I was saying it's like barely fine. And
yeah.
You're saying like, no, it's good.
I think it's good. I think it's good. Especially since concentration, you don't have to worry as much at lower levels. The thresholds of the damage you're taking, generally those concentration saves, you're only going to have to do a 50-50, get that 10, and you're good to go, right? And depending on your con, right? So I think it's beneficial. But as soon as you start getting up into the higher levels, this spell becomes quickly pretty shitty. And then even at the higher levels, when you cast this using a spell slot of 3rd or 4th, you can maintain your concentration up to you don't even do more damage. When you cast a spell using a spell slot of 3rd or 4th level, so you need to upcast it twice, you can maintain your concentration on the spell for up to 8 hours. And then if you do a 5th level, 24.
It's a tracking spell, is what they have.
Right. Which
is cool. I love tracking spells. I think last time we spoke about it, the equivalent of this in Star Wars 5e, the Scout, which our friend Andrew uses as his main class, uses it for the discovery feature, for the ability to keep tabs on people in their kind of espionage-esque game pretty often. But it's also a lot stronger in that field, and it also does more damage. And in this sense, it's like it's kind of good for keeping tabs on people, but I feel like also in 5e, which is a fantasy game, you're not prone to lose people as quickly, and if you are losing track of people, it's normally because they're gonna fucking step into the astral plane or teleport. You know, like
Yeah,
they're just
yeah.
like, they're gone, dude. Figure it out.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like it.
I think. Plus, I mean, even
I like
with
the idea of scaling damage is pretty good.
yes, and so long story short, I have removed that, and at level 2, we'll get into what I have I've implemented. Which, to be fair,
let's not get bogged down. I guess you have a good point.
Yeah. To be fair, I cannot take like all credit. I basically just went to Star Wars 5e and took their Ranger's Quarry feature, which we'll get into, because good inspiration, excellent kind of way to incorporate this Hunter's Mark-esque ability, but making it actually a fundamental component of a class. I think that's a big issue I have with this. Is they're not making Ranger like have this cool component like, oh, it's a pseudo Hunter's Mark, or this is kind of a different version of Hunter's Mark. It's literally just, hey, you can cast Hunter Mark sometimes for free. It's like, oh, nice creativity. Thanks for like not really, you know, making it feel unique. It just seems like you're just, it's almost like a little cop out. Like, hey, you can do this thing. So moving on. We have implemented a different version of that. And then obviously weapon masteries. I'm trying to like get down here. Jacob's really going to town right now.
It's the second page, third line, second level Ranger's Quarry, which I can read if you want.
I'm gonna get the second level real quick. So basically, weapon mastery, same thing. I basically just done the same thing for this version that we've done up. So nothing to really see there. I'm just trying to see him get down to Natural Explorer, which I know they actually changed, and that's another big thing I want to get into, because I was kind of like, what the fuck? It's really dumb. I'm trying to get down to it. All right. Okay, so this is where I started to be like, what the fuck? Okay, so Natural Explorer in this video, right? It says Natural Explorer is not a feature of the 2024 Ranger. Instead, if you'd like to be an expert navigator through the woods, the Ranger now gains access to spells that could help with travel, such as Alarm, Goodberry, and Speak with Animals at level 1, and you can select expertise in Survival with Deft Explorer at level 2. Yeah, so it's the reason. So Natural Explorer was the whole like, hey, in your favorite terrain, choose 2 terrain types. In those terrain types, you can go ahead and you have these things, which oh, right here, yeah, sorry. So Depth Explorer, right? So kind of scrolling back up. So in my version, you have an Unsurpassed Explorer, or you are an Unsurpassed Explorer. Choose one of your proficiencies in a skill that appears on the Ranger skill list. So you get an additional proficiency, or you choose a proficiency. You choose a skill that you're proficient in, and you gain expertise in that, which is a good bump. I'm liking kind of these little kind of additions to some of these classes where it's kind of giving you a little edge in something specific, so that way you can kind of feel like you're like kind of more of a master in executing it. In addition, choose 2 types of terrain: Arctic, coast, desert, forest, grassland, mountain, swamp, or the deep dark. Deep Dark is my world's version of the Underdark. You have advantage on nature checks about the chosen terrains, and you have advantage on survival checks to track creatures in them. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can meditate and replace one of those chosen terrain types with a different one from the list. Kind of making it a little bit more loosey-goosey in terms of, I don't want you to be like, I'm going to be an Arctic Ranger, and then you're in the woods for 7,000 sessions, and you're like, this is dumb. I kind of like the idea of like having to kind of reference notes, meditating, different things to kind of almost shift your focus from maybe what you were focused, like, a terrain you were focused on, to something else. And then just real quick note, I know this was kind of going to be kind of, I was kind of anticipating it being a common question, so I figured it'd be cool. Urban can be a terrain type as long as the DM gives the player authorization to choose it. This type of terrain consists of towns and cities, given that the Rangers spent their time in such places to the point of a heightened understanding of how they operate and run. Instead of nature checks having advantage like the other natural terrain types, the character gains advantage on history checks on the city that they are currently occupying. Extent of information is up to the DM's discretion and context, of course. Obviously, you're not...
I think that's really cool. There's a very different spin to it. I like that a lot. That's really cool. I was about to just gush over it, but really, no, I like that. Because, I mean, nature checks obviously that makes sense a little bit in the city. It's like, oh, the roadside fern.
Yeah, what?
It's really good at splashing shit off carriage wheels. But no, I like that because it's less. It's about nature, but it's also just about environment and such.
Right.
So I like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that this is a cool way to give the Rangers something that is very unique to them. This has always kind of been a thing, even in the 2024 version. I forget exactly what it was, or sorry, the 2014. I always mix those up. Even in the 2014 version, I'm just going to briefly pull it up. I kind of want to do a deep dive tonight, so I'm going to kind of do a lot of cross-referencing here. But yeah, it was the Natural Explorer, where basically you chose terrain types. It was a little bit more ambiguous and just kind of like detailed in 2014, talking about difficult terrain doesn't slow you down, even when you are engaged in other activities, blah, 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 a lot of these different things. I like how they dumbed it down to just some skill checks that you have benefits on.
Right.
But I like that. That was a cool, unique thing. And I like that in Tasha's Cauldron, they kind of enhanced that. But then they're like, 2024, how about instead of having this cool ability, yeah, you can just take Alarm or Goodberry and speak with animals as spells, and then we'll just call that good.
Yeah. There's a little bit of, it's like, if you want that version of Ranger, do it yourself. Which I get, but, which, I will say devil's advocate. It seems like they're trying to do a, like, oh, if people want that version of Ranger, they can still have that, but we're going a different direction.
Right.
But I don't know what that direction is.
Well, it
doesn't seem defined.
You'll see later that there is no direction, and it's more just like, and I'll just kind of spoiler alert. It's kind of, there's a lot of copping out of like more spells. We're giving you more spells, so you can kind of do what you want with Ranger. More spells, and it gets kind of frustrating old quick, but just as a little forewarning there. So
I mean, I went through Unearthed and Arcana, so I'm ready to be hurt again.
No, yeah, this is why. Yeah. So Deft Explorer.
Got my Ranger juice.
The Goodberry juice.
Yeah.
Deft Explorer level 2. So Deft Explorer, and this is from the video. Deft Explorer and its options from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything have been broken out into their own feature for the 2024 Ranger. Now a level 2 feature, the new Ranger's Deft Explorer grants you experience in 1 skill plus proficiency in 2 languages. And then this is what I'm talking about. Overhear the softest twig snap during watch with expertise and perception. Or help the tricksters of the group on their next scheme by picking up deception.
Yeah.
I'm like, why,
buddy?
dude? The flavor
Tell me how you really feel.
Bro, I'm like, why are you like, no? But that's what I'm saying. Like, they're literally like, they're trying to make you be like, oh, hey, we're gonna divert the, divert your attention from the fact that we're actually getting rid of things because, ooh, you can take, you can gain experience in a skill, and if you now you can. It's like, bro, you're actively chopping things out. So well, let
me say this. I like the ideal principle of just full macro back. I like the idea of, hey, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a character that's very customizable. Here's a bunch of options. We're gonna make it so like the most versatile thing in D&D possible, which is spells. Here's a swath of them you can play with. And so you can go this direction, go this direction. We're gonna make some cute little like lore, kind of like in the game style of like blurbs, kind of explaining a little bit of like our vision for it. Cool. Do that with a fucking wizard though.
Yeah.
Like the wizards, which are very well defined, all their it's just every school of magic for different subclasses that all had flavor based off that and all that. Ranger's kind of like, oh, he kind of like. Gloomstalker was the best thing for the Ranger in many years because they picked a super specific thing that no one really was like going for, I think, with the Ranger, and they nailed it down and they made it strong. And that I think for me the main thing that was good about the good Gloomstalker is like, oh, we're gonna make a fucking Shadow Ranger who also does like really good things. And it was a popular dip, especially for assassin rogues, but it was good. Then there was also the Planewalker, really cool. Good. Liked it.
Yeah.
Just also just wanting to play Aragorn. Like I maybe I want a sword and a bow and I want to go help the hobbits. It's like, oh, you can take spells for that. I'm like, yeah, but Aragorn doesn't really cast spells.
Right.
Like I can do things and like reflavor them, but what else you got for me? It's like, I'll cast Alarm. To realize the Nazguls are stabbing Pippin. You know, like...
Yeah. I gotta eat this Goodberry so I can help fight off the demons, dude.
Which I like those enough, and you can reflavor them from spells. Like instead of casting Goodberry, you use an expenditure of that resource, however you're calling it, to find good berries in the environment or whatever. Cool, whatever. But it's, like it was already kind of weak. The Ranger's already kind of weak in 5e thematically, and they're taking the theme away from Ranger. And also it sucks mechanically. Are you going through Gloomstalker? Or?
Well, I was looking at some of them. I didn't even know that Monster Slayer was a Ranger subclass. I was just kind of taking a look at Horizon Walker and Gloomstalker to kind of just, jog my memory. There's actually a subclass called Monster Slayer, and literally the first two of the things that you get at 3rd level is essentially what I've incorporated already. Not even realizing that this is... Yeah, no, I agree. But that's kind of interesting. I guess it is what it is. But yeah, it's like, no, I agree with you 100%. It's like, why, like, full casters, I say, get a lot of their identity from spells because they get so many. When you're a half caster, the whole reason why you're a half caster is to kind of dip into spells, dip into martial, but then have that unique class and its features to kind of, carry you through and kind of have, some of that unique gameplay. So I agree. I don't know why. I don't know why they're doing that. And a big thing with this too is like, already they're just like ripping out a lot of fun mechanics of like, hey, you're proficient in these types of terrains. Oh, well, we're gonna get rid of those. Now you get a couple languages and a couple proficiencies. Enjoy. It's like the game is much more than just like I'm good at these skills. It's about the features you get. It's about how you can interact with the world, and I think that's why I like so much about the Deft Explorer and the things like that. So,
right, like I am less excited when I'm leveling up. Find out I get proficiency in something and I get a plus to something. That's good, and I like those levels. Don't get me wrong. It's better than getting a level where all you know is you're getting like an increasing amount of spell slot. Even that's good. What I really like is like, oh, I get another ribbon feature, kind of what they're normally called, where it's like, oh, I get something flavorful. I get another ability. It's like I get to like beat a skies more often, or I get a better with good berry. Now I have great berry. God damn it! Like I'm just. Just things like that. Those are so much more exciting. So it's unfortunate they're seemingly steering completely clear of that.
Right.
Allegedly, they are absolutely not doing that. That is the most legalese way I can say that.
Yeah, exactly. But now that we are into level 2, so Depth Explorer for our version. We should probably stop gushing over these fucking levels. No. So no. This is good because because the early levels are kind of where they change a lot of things and there's a lot of depth. As soon as we get to like greater on, dude, that's where the 2024 version's like, hey, we don't have this anymore, and we'll just be like, what the fuck? So it'll pick up pace as we progress.
No problem. Okay.
At level 2, go ahead and read me Ranger's Quarry.
Your?
Yes.
Yeah. I guess what do you mean your? It's only Ranger's Quarry and yours. So 2nd level Ranger's Quarry, harnessing the primal connection you have established with nature. As a bonus action, you can call upon this mystical bond to supernaturally mark a creature that you can see within 120 feet. For the next hour, you get the following benefits. Once per turn, you can hit the marked creature with a weapon attack. You can deal an additional 1d4 force damage. This damage increases to 1d6 at 5th level, 1d8 at 9th level, 1d10 at 13th level, and 1d12 at 17th level. You have advantage on any perception or survival check you make to find the marked creature while it's within 1 mile of you. If the creature goes outside of the 1 mile radius, the mark fades. You can only have one creature marked in this way at a time. You can mark a creature number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum of 1, and you regain all expended uses of this ability when you finish a rest. Which is great, fantastic, wonderful, love it. I love scaling damage. If you think about it, when you hit 5th level, 1d6 makes sense. When you hit 9th level, a 1d8 is pretty good still. It's because again, this is reliable damage.
Yeah,
it keeps happening. Especially at that point, you're having your extra attack.
Yep. Yes, and actually, one big thing too is this, in my mind, actually will boost the Ranger's damage in terms of keeping up in the later game, because this is what I like about this. No concentration. Don't know if everybody in the tavern here noticed that. No concentration.
I absolutely noticed.
No concentration. Therefore, if you wanted to double down and you wanted to also cast Hunter's Mark, you are free to do so.
Which I will say, in the Star Wars 5e game, the character absolutely does that.
Yeah. And that's
absolutely does that, and it's not a problem. It doesn't affect the game.
Dude, it's 1d6 extra damage for Hunter's Mark. Now, obviously, per hit, so, you can start to stack damage, but the Rangers so offset with damage output that they literally blatantly say, hey, we're trying to keep them kind of up in par with other classes, that this isn't an issue. Also, Ranger's Quarry, once per turn. So it's literally just a, oh, hey, I have this creature, 1d4. Like, it's a little sprinkling on top.
That is a very good point. This is once per turn. Hunter's Mark is multiple times per turn. So that first hit, say you're at 13th level, you get the 1d10 and the 1d6. Next hit, you get the 1d6.
Yep.
Which, if you're using a weapon, you know, you're probably using a magical weapon, maybe effects and stuff, you're still doing good damage, but that first hit's feeling good.
Yep.
And if you dipped in a rogue a little bit, maybe that first hit's doing really good, you know?
Hell yeah, dude. Yep. I think that just solves the problem. Also, 120 feet, I think, is a healthier kind of range. Also, it's a creature you can see. You have to see a creature. Makes sense. I don't remember if the Star Wars 5e is a creature within 1 mile of you. I actually think
it is, because I know it came up. It is a measure of feet. Because quite recently, one of the characters noticed somebody stalking him from the rooftops. Like, I cast Hunt. Ranger's Quarry. I'm like, tell me the range on Hunter's Quarry. And then God damn it! It's like, yeah, he's not even he's 3 times the distance, fucker. No, you can't do that. He's gonna stay mysterious for a little bit longer.
Well, no. For sure, the range. I'm talking about if you mark a creature, is it specified that if the creature is within 1 mile? You could probably pull that up real quick. I think I added that because it was vague, and I wanted to at least clarify that, so that way there's a little bit of not just infinite kind of ability, but it will be adjusted as we progress, though.
That is a good point. I will say I don't believe it does fall away after a certain distance. Okay.
Yeah, I figured that'd be also a good way to kind of keep it a little bit more in the realm of kind of balanced and kind of keep it kind of grounded a bit.
It does have a range. I'm so sorry. It's if they're on the same planet as.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So not
Word.
The same.
Yeah. So this just a slight difference, but we'll take it.
Very slight.
So yeah, Ranger's Quarry picks up the slack, makes it so it's a unique feature of the Ranger. It does not tie to a specific spell, and then also and I like this kind of shift that Tasha has had on the D&D classes, where it starts to use an ability mod as the amount of uses. I like that because it really emphasizes the importance of maybe taking ability score improvements. Like, hey, if I increase my wisdom by 2, or get my modifier from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, I'm getting not only all of those added stat benefits, but I'm also getting more uses of a fun feature that I'm using. It prioritizes that. It makes ability score improvements seem more meaningful than just, I don't need to ever do that because all my features are either once, twice, 10 times, whatever.
Yeah, that's another reason I think Tasha's really hammered them home.
Yes.
I know that even the new edition has it. Praise I'll happily give it, which will be few and far between. But half feats, where they give you a +1 to whatever you want, and a feat.
Yeah.
A smaller effect. But another reason to take one of those, because maybe it pushes up your ability score, which is already good, just stat-wise, as we're saying, but also if it's tying into main class features, that might be more appealing than taking maybe a more boilerplate, pretty solid feat. You take one that gives you an ability score improvement, so it's always going to be reliable. And then, there's some other smaller effect.
Right. Yeah, I agree, 100%. And those half feats are super nice, too. So
I like half feats. I like the versatility.
Yeah. I think it's a good way to kind of get the best of both worlds. So, all right, fighting style, nothing crazy different. You've honed your martial prowess. You gain one of the following fighting styles: archery, defense, dueling, 2-weapon fighting, blind fighting, druidic warrior, or thrown weapon fighting. That is also similar to the 2024, which I'm gonna switch back over to the video here. Blah blah blah. They kind of made them feats instead of fighting styles. So fighting styles apparently they're now labeled as a feat, but it's still the same thing. So we'll keep progressing here. But you do get a fighting style, which is pretty good. And then Ranger subclass, also at 3rd level. That is the same.
What does 2024 have for subclasses?
2024 subclasses. Oh gosh, it has Fey Wanderer. It has Fey Wanderer, Gloomstalker, Hunter, and I think it has Beastmaster. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. So let's keep progressing here. Hold on. I'm trying to get the video to kind of bring it down. Okay, so third level, primeval awareness, primeval awareness, whatever. Beginning at third level, you can use your action and expend 1 ranger spell slot to focus your awareness on the region around you. For 1 minute per level of the spell slot you expend, you can sense whether the following types of creatures are present within 1 mile of you, or within up to 6 miles if you are in favored terrain. So is there favored terrain then?
What? So you're watching a video. Is there a document I can look at?
Just type in literally XP to level 3 ranger, and if you want to follow along, you can totally do that. I'm at minute 13 in the video. But if you go back,
With the 2024 Ranger, the first thing's an ad for a Ford.
For a Ford Ranger, hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, let me buy one real quick.
I don't know what if you're in a favored terrain, so I don't know what why it says you no longer get. Now at level 2, the new Rangers. Natural Explorer is not a feature of the 2024 Ranger. Instead, if you'd like to be an expert navigator through the woods, you now have spells. Okay, so I don't understand why this now 3rd level ability is saying that it in your favorite terrain. Depth Explorer and its options from Tasha has been broken out into their own features. Yeah, so Natural Explorer, I don't know why it says that.
Might be a holdover, honestly, based off how they're going through it.
That might be a typo, or maybe they're maybe there's just something they're not specifying. But yeah, oh wait, wait. I think I might have. Oh, I think I might have. He jumps around to different books a little bit. I think that.
Oh, so he might be going over 20.
I think no. So I think now, yeah. So now it even says So that was. So my bad. See, that was incongruent. So now we're back to the real version of Primeval Awareness, which is here we go. Primeval Awareness is not a feature of the 2024 Ranger. You can still gain greater awareness of the world around you by picking up expertise in perception at level 2 with Depth Explorer. You also have more spells now and can swap them more often, so why are you bitching? So you can now access Beast Sense and locate animal or plants more easily.
Does he actually say why are you bitching?
No, it should. I mean, in my mind that's what it's saying. But essentially that's that's what it literally says. It is not a feature. If you basically want what this feature was at one point, do this instead. And bro, that's what I'm saying about the commentary that pisses me off. I'm like, why are you telling me to burn through the few features I have to try to uptick to a feature that you had automatically given me in the past? That shit's stupid.
I think there's a little bit of it, just to be quite blatant, of when you're reading through these things, trying to keep an air of optimism a little bit. You want to be oh, okay, let's, even if it's for yourself. Say when I was first reading the Ranger UA, again, the heartbreaking encounters on stream, or on a VOD somewhere, I was pretty optimistic the first bit, because I wanted to believe, damn it. So I was able to explain away things till it became too much. And then I'm like, oh wait, shit. So then I reread the things I read with a good attitude. And then I'm like, this is bullshit, dude.
This is ass.
This is fucking ass. This is ass.
Ass. Dude.
Yeah, ass. Yeah, so there's probably a little bit of that. It's we could just tweak this, we could add a feature here, we can take a feature here. Don't worry about it. Whatever you got going on, we can plug that.
See, the issue with doing that
didn't need to be plugged.
I was gonna say the issue with doing that is there's only you can only do so much of the maiming of a class that already was shit. You can't really.
Well, especially this is at 3rd level, right?
Well, it was at 3rd level. Now it's not at 3rd level at all because it really tells you.
At 3rd level you have 3 casts of a 1st level spell.
Good thing.
So,
good thing I can make up all that slack that good thing I can do that. I will say that Tasha's so point of order here. Tasha's Cauldron of everything did give the Ranger primal awareness or primal whatever the hell it's called. And here actually I literally have it up. No I don't. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick. So this is for those of you that are not aware, this is what the ability was. And I actually had it in my version of Ranger. I would just like to say I actually cut it because
don't think I ever had Tasha.
Oh, really? You're missing out, brother.
Yeah. I had Volos, I had Xanthars, I had Mordekaiser's.
Okay, so here we go, right? So this is, I don't know why it's called primeval aware. It's stupid.
Primeval.
But it's not even evil. It's eval. Primeval. Whatever. I'm gonna have a stroke on stream. Anyway, so this third level.
Stream, this is the wrong.
I'm gonna stroke on stream. All right.
Stream next, boys.
All right.
Money.
Okay, so primal awareness. I really like this ability, but I'll tell you why it's not in our version of Ranger, which I'll actually jump back over to, because at third level you just get your Ranger subclass for our version. But I really like this feature. You can focus your awareness through the interconnections of nature. You learn additional spells when you reach certain levels in this class if you don't already know them, as shown in the primal awareness spells table. These spells don't count against the number of Ranger spells you know, so they're increasing your spell list. So boom, that's already a plus. You now have these. You don't even have to worry about preparing them because they're already there. And then third levels. Third level, speak with animals. Cool. 5th level, beast sense. 9th level, speak with plants. 13th level, locate creature. 17th level, commune with nature. Obviously, I looked at the spell levels for each of these. It's a 1st level, 2nd level, 3rd level, 4th level, 5th level, which I guess in a sense makes sense as a half caster.
It tracks with what Ranger has.
Right.
Ability.
But dude, it's free. Those are permanent.
Yeah, they're prepared. They're there.
Yeah, you get them. Also, you can cast each of these spells once without expending a spell slot. Once you cast a spell in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest.
That's groovy, fun, and a great way to use utility spells I would never use otherwise.
Literally, exactly. This is a great way to embed utility spells in the classes. It makes sense. And to make them usable without burning resources that you're not like, dude, I don't give a fuck about speaking with those plants, but I can do it for free, so now I'm going to expand this scenario that we're in. I love the fact... Oh, go ahead.
No, you're by all means. Go ahead. I'll jump in later, because...
I was just going to say, I love the fact that they had this really cool ability, and they ripped it out, and said, oh, but we give you more spells so you can just cover down for us, because we're just shit at making Ranger.
Yeah, but the thing is, they give you more spells, they don't give you more spell slots, which is really the stopgap. Exactly. That is the bigger thing. Exactly. Because having the ability to cast those utility spells freely doesn't take away from what the Ranger is. The Ranger could do anything else. Just now, the rare time you want to speak with plants, you don't have to worry about using a spell slot. You can do it the 1 or 2 times in a whole campaign you'll ever do it.
Yeah.
Or now that you have it as a resource available, maybe do it more and more often, which would be fun. Exactly. All I was gonna say, because you mentioned speak with plants, the only time I ever saw it be used was during the Red Mire, where it wasn't even used because Evan realized that plants only have a memory of before casting it, and he was too distraught to bother casting and asking the plant questions, which as a DM I was very thrilled about, because oh my god, that plant have answers. A lot of things happen in 24 hours around that damn plant, and he's like, this plant don't know shit, I'm out of here. I'm like,
whoa, right. Dodged a bullet there.
Yeah. The Red Mire was pretty much just the DM dodging bullet for about 3 or 4 sessions.
Dude, the Red Mire was great. Watch it. It's a arc on our YouTube channel.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's there.
Connor runs it, and you will enjoy it. Jumping back in, it's good. It's some of the best D&D I've ever played in. Okay, so, I did. Okay, I added this to my Ranger, and then as I finished my Ranger, I had to actually cut things from our version because of just how much I've added to it. No, I know. But you'll thank me later once you see how much I've actually added. And if I had this on top of it, you'd be like, damn, bro, Ranger's the best class. Fuck every other class. You don't need to even use it. But I will say, such a good ability that I made it. I've added to the Druid, because the Druid for some reason didn't have this. And I was like, why would a Druid not have these things always prepared and also available to cast? So I was like, you know what? Take away from here to kind of balance this class, boost the Druid a little bit. We'll call it a good day. So,
like that.
All right, let's continue on here. Okay, so they got rid of it. Cool. The next thing that you see here is roving. So we'll go ahead and actually read through our versions to kind of fill in the gaps. It doesn't specifically say like the 5th level extra attack is gone, so I'm assuming it's still there in the 2024 version. But 4th
Right.
level, obviously, ability score improvement is pretty universal for most classes. 5th level, you can attack twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action on your turn. One big thing. Oh, go ahead.
I was looking at no.
Read it, bro. Read it.
You added a 5th level, quick disappearance. Like your dad getting milk, you have become proficient at hiding quickly and breaking line of sight. You can now use bonus action to hide. Good, love it, great. Of all the classes, I think Ranger dips in and out of. Primarily, we think of Fighter Druid. They also are very closely related in this fucked up love triangle to Rogue.
Yes.
So why not borrow from it a bit?
Yeah. And one thing I also like with this is it's not even necessarily super, like, if anything, the cunning actions that the rogue has where they can hide on a bonus action is way more of a utility boost to them because hiding is so beneficial in terms of getting sneak attack. Whereas the ranger, like, a ranger being able to hide really doesn't do them a whole lot besides the flavor and just the natural understanding of, like, yeah, dude, if they're out there hunting creatures in the wilds, they'd be able to hide quickly. They would. And it's just one of those things that I feel like is just a cool reflection of what the ranger should be.
I fully agree.
Cool. Very good. Okay, so next level, we're going to jump down here. Roving, 6th level for the 2024 version. We're at minute 14. 1404. Formerly a part of the Depth Explorer feature in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, Roving has been split off into its own class feature with a slight buff. It now grants an additional 10 feet of movement instead of 5, but it does require you to not wear heavy armor. It still grants the climb speed and swim speed as before.
Extra mobility.
Yes, I think roving was super cool. And if you're not familiar with kind of what they're referring to with the Depth Explorer feature, in Tasha's, basically at first level you got skill proficiencies, and then you're able to write some additional languages. 6th level you got this ability, but at 5 feet, and then at 10th level you got tireless. And so basically all they did was they broke it out, which is kind of weird. So this is where it kind of gets frustrating. So Depth Explorer kind of ramped up in the Tasha's version, where it's like, oh, at first level you get this, 6th level you get this, 10th level you get this, which is cool. Which was cool because it was kind of like this. Oh, there you go. I told him to get blue light glasses, and he did.
Ready?
Oh, double shade up, dog.
I'm paying attention. Oh yeah.
Anyway, so so instead of this like ability kind of becoming better over time, they just split it out across the class and just said, hey, this is good enough for us. Also, Connor needs all that before he just drops this crazy shade I'm sure he's about to drop on this class, so he doesn't blind himself.
What I will say about Rover is, I actually don't think it's that bad. I think it was an unnecessarily powerful ability. Mobility is very strong, especially in D&D 5e. Positioning is really important. Positioning, especially away from area effects. Climb speed, as we know, they buffed the monk a lot with that. However, I think it's unnecessary to throw so much into a 5th level ability to kind of stopgap doing jack shit every other level.
Right.
So, I understand. Obviously, I have the benefit of looking at your screen, and there was no need to add it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, also, real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the because we're really doing a deep dive here. I'm gonna go ahead and actually pull up the Unearthed Arcana, because it doesn't actually specify what Land's Stride was. Why did it do that? Oh, weird. Okay, anyway, Ranger. I'm just gonna make sure that we're kind of reading through everything to kind of show you the comparisons at which we did. So I'm gonna pull this up real quick, and then we can read through it and see what it is.
Land's Stride was at 8th level.
I think, is it even in here? No, it's not even in here.
I just typed in Land's Stride.
I think Land's Stride was in the 2014 version. Oh, it was.
Land's Stride, starting at 8th level. You move to non-magical.
Hold on. We'll get there. I just wanted to have it ready on deck.
It's on deck.
All right, we're on deck. Okay, so roving. Like you said, Tasha's Cauldron, I really like this ability, but we'll get to it because it's still in our version just a little bit later on. However, 6th level, this is a big thing. I'm gonna have you read it in 1 second, but this is a big reason why I like Ranger's Quarry so much more, and not just embedding a spell, but making it a feature. And because this is the reason why right here, as this Ranger that I built and kind of tied together, as it progresses, this Ranger's Quarry feature becomes more powerful, which I think is something always super fun with classes when they have a unique ability, is it grows in strength. Just like how the damage increases over the levels, new things are unlocked for this feature. Go ahead and read 6th level here.
Level 6, Nature's Insight. Your connection with the primal forces of nature has deepened, giving you insight on those you mark. When a creature is marked with your Ranger's Quarry feature, you now learn the creature's vulnerabilities, resistances, or immunities if it has any. Additionally, the duration of the mark is increased to 8 hours. No notes. Good. Love it. Of any character class, just as a class, plays the role of a bounty hunter, it is either, again, the relationship between the rogue and ranger.
Right.
Ranger kind of, I think, again, kind of an urban or countryside kind of flavoring behind them. But I think, yeah, just if you're able to cast Hunter's Mark on something. The only thing I will say is just as a DM, there might be some creepy little critter you have running around. Like, ooh, it's got this creepy little skeleton with a purple skull, and it's shitting green fire, and everyone's like, what is it? Then you cast Nature's Insight with your Hunter's Mark with Nature's Insight on it. Then you're like, he's actually super resistant to necrotic damage for some fucking reason. And then, like, so maybe perhaps a certain level of monster, they have to pass a wisdom save.
Ooh, I like that.
Or lose abilities like that.
Yeah.
That might be the only thing I'd say because information like that is quite powerful, but as a DM also, information like that can kind of spoil a thing or two.
Right.
So maybe a wisdom save like that, which again, the Ranger's proficient in. So the Ranger still should hit those, but making it a roll makes it a little bit more impactful. Or if they don't get it, okay, but they still also, it lasts another 8 hours, and maybe they get partial.
Yeah, I actually like that a lot. I'm gonna actually just put in parentheses, if any. I'm gonna just put like maybe DM's discretion on if wisdom saving throw is needed to discern information. Something like that. But I'll add that in because I do like that. I do like how it's like I put this. Oh yeah, I guess that's right. Anyway, I'll add that in. I'm just actually gonna go ahead and just delete that for now. But I'll add that in because I do think that is. I think it's a good point. And even maybe we could do like challenge rating something, or yeah, literally, or we could just do it baseline where this is maybe every time it needs to make a wisdom saving throw, and because this is just in addition to it doesn't matter, it doesn't actually take your Ranger Quarry still is successful even if this isn't. Yeah. So this could be a little. It's the
additional info that's it. Otherwise, the Ranger Quarry's works, lasts 8 hours.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's a good. I think that's a good note. I'm just gonna add saving throw, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and call that good so I can finish or type that in. But yes, grows the feature of Ranger's Quarry. I really enjoyed that. Okay, so for now, 7th level, subclass feature for where we're at now. In the video, it doesn't show 7th level, but I'm assuming it's probably the same thing. So, 8th level is obviously going to be you gain the ability score improvement feat or another feat of your choice for which you qualify. And then I guess in this version, this is not a feature. The Land Stride, this is not a feature of the 2014 Ranger. Instead, the Ranger gets expertise at 9th level. Land Stride, starting at the 8th level. Yeah, starting at 8th level, moving through non-magical difficult terrain costs you no extra movement. You can also pass through non-magical plants without being slowed by them and without taking damage from them if they have thorns, spines, or a similar hazard. In addition, if you have advantage on saving throws against plants that are magically created or manipulated to impede movement, such those created by the Entangle spell. That's kind of a cool ability, actually. I think that's actually kind of a unique thing. Had I read that probably earlier, I might have actually incorporated that in a very kind of cool way, like kind of flavor way, and made it make a little more sense. But I didn't.
I do like the idea that Landstride gives you the ability to like wear thick enough clothing that thorns don't bother you.
Right.
But of course, that taking an imaginative stance, D&D has plants that aren't magical but are unusual and can do damage, very difficult terrain, and all these things. So yeah, being able to just move swiftly through them as a ranger makes total sense. Having advantage on things, especially they're specifying magical spell effects plants. Cool and groovy.
Yeah, pretty cool. I'm actually kind of sad that I didn't see that. I'm kind of sad that's gone.
Well, that's why did version 2, version 3, version 3.5.
Yeah,
we keep growing.
It's
true.
That's true. 100%. Landstride, pretty cool though.
I remember liking Landstride when I was reading it. Because when I played a ranger, we didn't get to that level. We normally play in the kind of the 1 to 6 or 7 type of range.
Right. Exactly.
Especially back then.
Now
I've got a party just brushing up against level 8, and I'm scared for what that's going to do to my setting. I see at level 9 for yours you have something.
Yeah, I'm trying to. He's kind of going around. I'm just trying to get to the point where he goes down a little bit. Okay. Okay, so, he went a little too far. If you wanna follow along in the video, I'm at 1730 like 4. Okay, so also super cool thing. So expertise at level 9. This ranger gains expertise in 2 additional skills. Now you have expertise in 3 skills. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about though. Now you have expertise in 3 skills and can keep up with bards and rogues who have 4. I'm like, okay.
That goes kind of wild.
So you're like, once again, they're gutting Landstride, and they're filling it with, you have more abilities. You have more. Or sorry, not abilities. No. You have more proficiencies. You have more skills you're good at. What's crazy to me is that not only does the rogue start out with 4 proficiencies as a base class when they jump right in, they also have a full fleshed out class that gives them features at every level and doesn't just keep saying, hey, you get more proficiencies.
Fair point.
Yeah.
I mean, proficiencies are good. It's good to have more of them. But, like, I guess I understand being a half caster. You don't want to be as good at martial things as a full martial. You don't want to be good at spellcasting as a full spellcaster. But, like, I don't know. There is kind of a middle child feel to Ranger kind of throughout. That's kind of always been the feeling.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't help where it's like, you just get less, buddy.
But, like, that's my thing is, like, what all these other classes are getting, they're getting on top of class features. That's where, like, this is, like, pissing me off, is the fact that they're just gutting features and giving you proficiencies and saying, look guys, you're keeping up with the rogue now. Look guys, you're keeping up with full casters because you have more spells. It's like, bro, if I wanted more skills, I would be a rogue. If I wanted more spells, I'd be a druid. If I wanted battle maneuvers and more martial ability, I would be a fucking fighter. I don't want this weird shitty version of all 3. I want a unique version that ties some of them together and makes it fun. That's what it boils down to.
Right. Borrowing from all 3 in a notable enough way, but also... And I think part of it, just to kind of go into like the bigger thing with D&D 5e, is exploration is not a main thing in D&D 5e. Traveling and doing all those things, it isn't the biggest deal. You get there or you don't, so maybe you get sidetracked and this happens or whatever, but like it isn't the biggest deal, and if it happens, you're normally fine. You don't need a ranger to help. That's a whole component of play that a class is normally built for. Ranger is kind of normally a pathfinder, and the path is more or less found in 5e. You're gonna get there. It's gonna be fine. Unless the DM wants to make sure you can't, there's something else going on, but the exploration thing's kind of lacking in 5e. So the Ranger's identity is somewhat now, you can help them get there, but not too much. Then you can fight, but like not that good, and you can cast a spell, not those ones, and like twice.
Not those ones for free.
And after that, you take a fucking nap. All right, you go to bed.
That's a good point, though. Yeah, it almost feels like, and that's actually, yeah. At first, I thought you lost me. I was like, what is he saying? But then I see exactly what you're saying. Instead of all these kind of fun, like exploratory things that were in, oh shit.
Yeah, dude. Earthquake.
Yep. That were in 2014 or even the Unearthed Arcana, they're kind of being like, well, that's not really there. We're not seeing that trend, so let's go ahead and deviate a little bit and just give them more elsewhere. And that's dumb though, because it's like for instance, the Frost Trail, a ranger had it not been dog shit would have been very beneficial. Like if you guys had a ranger, and with certain things,
which I was very tempted to do.
Right, exactly. And so, and I'd already refined. I don't know if I'd already revised it at that point, but I think I was in the process of doing it the first time. But
I know there's a couple of things that were like because you and I spoke about it when I was going to play a ranger. There's a couple gimmies that the ranger had at that point.
Yeah,
but nothing crazy.
Exactly. So, but yeah, it's just, yeah. I think Rangers should not be gutted because of what most people's D&D games are. I think that Rangers should thrive in those games, and I think the Rangers should almost make DMs be more cognizant of expanding upon those areas of play. I think is what should happen.
I fully agree. I feel like a big thing is the DM's guide, which we all have and none of us read.
Yep.
But could have an expanded section on like traversing, which I know they have it in there, but like especially because that's like, hey, here's a whole explanation of how a whole core component of your game could work, but also including a ranger and making like encounters involve things of an exploratory nature that a ranger can help with. I know you and I spoke about not long ago of making a kind of investigator type of thing.
Yeah.
They have the Inquisitor rogue, but also like the ranger feels better in that role. You know, at least like on paper. So like, it's kind of like, how do you take the ranger from something that DMs don't normally engage with, plug it into things that players normally do with it, which is the role playing, which that's easy enough. Like a competent enough DM can make that. But you want the stats to support it, and then the combat side of things.
Yeah.
As well. And I feel like they made a swing at it, but instead of finding something, a unique niche for the ranger, they kind of gave them a little bit of everything in a juice box and said, go play with the big kids. I know they're scary. They're going to be scary. You are not going to get any bigger.
Yeah.
We are not helping you grow.
And then the kid with the juice box get hit with a bat immediately on the playground,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh shit. Even though like you knew for a fact that was gonna happen to this poor child.
Yeah. Like I like the idea of exploration. I guess in my mind, kind of where I'm going to is I know they redid some of the things for the ranger in Baldur's Gate 3 because for one, the game's different because it's a isometric RPG. But like I know like they redid the Beastmaster, which is something I only learned recently. I love the ranger. My God, was I ever gonna fucking try playing him at that? I wanted to win. I wasn't gonna get myself.
Yeah.
But like they redid the Beastmaster where it went off of like your proficiencies. It had its own initiative, like your creature. You had an ability to summon it in combat instead of just this persistent thing. And it's like, oh, that's a really cool way to like gamify it. But also, how many of those things could you bring back into D&D?
Right.
You know, that's just a specific subclass. You know, and obviously the ranger in that game is just a fighter with a different vibe. You're not playing with most of the other skills.
Yeah. But
I want my ranger I want Legolas and Aragorn, the class, to do good.
100%, which is why we're here. Speaking of which, did I read the 9th level? Okay, so they have Tireless at 10th level. Whereas I kind of have some things shifted, but at 9th level, like I said, you get 2 additional skills. They even added an exclamation point, thinking that they like were doing something super profound by giving you just more skills. All right, 9th level, Tireless Wanderer, Connor. Will you read this?
Your 9th level Deft Explorer?
No, my 9th level Tireless Wanderer.
Your 9th level is Tireless Wanderer. Where was I? Oh, I was just up one. Got it. You have 2 for 9th level. Got it. Tireless Wanderer. Who would have guessed? Primal Forces now help fuel you on your journeys, granting the following benefit: Movement speed. Your speed increases by 5 feet while you aren't wearing heavy armor. You also have a climb and swim speed equal to your walking speed. Temporary hit points. As an action, you could give yourself a number of temporary hit points equal to 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier, minimum of 1. You use this action a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and regain all expended uses when you finish a rest. Okay, when you finish a short rest, your exhaustion level, if any, decreases by 1. That's pretty good, especially in games where you accrue exhaustion. It's normally a survival type game. Rangers should thrive at those. Temporary hit points, love that. I immediately read that, thought of a way to gamify it, but that's why it's there. Does it stack is my only question. Say you have 3 uses of it, can you go boom, 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 use all 3 in 3 turns, and stack those temps?
No, temporary hit points, just game mechanics wise, any temporary hit points you gain are immediately circumvented by previous. So if you rolled it, that's just how temporary hit points work. If you have 1 temporary hit point, or sorry, if you had 100 temporary hit points and then someone was to give you 1, you would have 1, and it would remove all
I do remember, because I played, again, Baldur's Gate. I cast, I think it was a 5th level aid on my entire
party. Hell yeah.
Went to go help a bunch of NPCs. NPCs helpfully went, let me help! For, like, cast aid at the lowest level possible, just taking 20 HP for my entire party.
Yep.
Like, kill him! Fucking stab that guy! Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah, you ruined my day, bitch. And you gotta
kill him. That makes sense, because, again, gamifying it, you wake up. First thing you do, use your 10 hit points. But in this case, yeah, do that. Fucking why not? Because you have, if, say, your wisdom has a +3 modifier, you have 2 more uses throughout the day. You have the temp to kind of buffer you. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just, like, basic. Maybe that's part of your ranger's ritual when you hit 9th level.
Right,
and P +5 is always good.
And I really, so, I'm trying to remember where, but so I kind of combined a couple, because in the Tasha's version, Depth Explorer, Roving, which is the movement speed increase, and Tireless are actually 2 different levels. I kind of combined them, because I feel like the movement speed inherently could probably be on its own, because it is a very good, the movement speed for this is very good. Not only are you getting extra 5 feet, which is, awesome, but you're also getting a climb speed and a swim speed, which makes it so you can basically just traverse terrain super unimpeded. So, yeah, and then I think the temporary hit points is a cool idea, like you were saying. I didn't think it was super insane, so I kind of smashed it in there too. I think the decreased exhaustion is very circumstantial, but I like the idea of a ranger just being used to that kind of fatigue and regaining it quickly.
I think because exhaustion is really traditionally only accruing. You're doing long stretches, the environment's really rough, or does a very specific type of creature fucking with you? Is like the only way it's stepping outside of the realm of a ranger. But even then, the ranger's just like, someone hits you with like, zap, you're tired, and the ranger's fucking, no, I'm not. What the fuck?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I think all those they're small things in their own way, but all of them, especially combined together, are all flavorful for the ranger. The temp hit points is not necessarily flavorful for the ranger, but it's a game mechanic that makes sense. And out of all 3 of those, movement speed you're always going to use, right? But the temporary hit points you're going to notice a lot more.
Yeah. Yep. And I think the temporary hit points too, I actually messed around with the temporary hit points, making it a bonus action instead of an action. But then I realized, like, with kind of blending all 3 of these together for a feature, I figured as an action, like, it kind of makes it one of those things where it's like a thing that you're making a choice to do. It's not like an in-combat thing, and actually tie that in kind of nicely to this super cool flavor text that they have for Tyrus at level 10 here for the Ranger in 2024 for Wizards of the Coast. It says, with Tireless, you can use an action to grant yourself temporary hit points. I love using this feature as soon as literally anything seems off, because you get several uses per day, and the temporary hit points don't fade until you complete a long rest. As soon as I hear a weird noise, I'm drawing my scimitar and using Tireless. That's literally what it says.
I get it.
To go on, this feature is nearly identical to its appearance in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, except now the number of uses is tied to your wisdom mod, not your proficiency. As an aside, I like this tweak. The power represents your connection to primal forces, and so does your spellcasting ability modifier. So more flavor text. Just as in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, Tireless also allows you to reduce your exhaustion by 1 level when you take a short rest. Okay, so Tireless was the 2 combined there. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah.
Got it. So now you just have that tied into movement speed.
Exactly.
And it's also based off your wisdom, which technically is mechanically weaker than your proficiency. However, it is more flavorful, therefore not as like this isn't something you need to have 5 of necessarily.
Right, it's a little.
You might have them if your wisdom's that high, but like that's a you thing. If you're a ranger with 20 wisdom, I have questions.
Yeah.
But aside from that,
and then because we're giving the ranger cool things, I also at 9th level have Depth Explorer improvement. Choose one of your proficiencies in a skill that appears on the ranger's skill list. You gain expertise in that skill, so they still get an expertise for that. I will say I actually did nerf that a little bit because the Depth Explorer improvement in the Unearthed Arcana actually gave you 2 more terrain features that you could choose. So you, at this point in time, would have 4. Which in
so you have like Arctic, coast, grasslands, mountains.
You can have a lot, and the reason why I got rid of those is not I limited it because I kind of wanted that pool to be a little bit smaller, just to kind of show your focus on those areas, and also because every long rest you can switch them, so I don't find the need to have 4.
That's what I was thinking too, because in my mind you have like say you grew up in the grasslands, you always have that one, then you have your one, which we're going to the Arctic, I'm gonna research that.
Yeah.
We're going to the desert and research that. And it's like, I have 3 that I research at a time. It's like, why, Jim?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
We're not in Minecraft. The biomes are far away.
Far away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I think 9th level is a really kind of big, kind of just like the first, nothing super groundbreaking by any means, but kind of a big pick-me-up of like, okay, cool, I just got a lot of like fun little features I can use. Right. Much better than level 9 being expertise, and you get 2 additional skills, and now you have expertise and blah blah bullshit, whatever the fuck. So.
Yeah.
Let's carry on here, and then also, back to the video. Hide in plain sight, level 10. This is not a feature of the 2024 Ranger. Instead, the Ranger gets tireless at level 10. So we already went over the level 10. Nice.
So you're level 10. Nature's Veil.
Hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna.
I'm holding on.
I'm progressing the video just a little bit so we can kind of keep flowing here.
Been arguably 2 seconds.
He's going around. Hold on. I turn on captions.
Burn this place down, I swear to God.
Shit, hold on.
Wait, it's my place.
Okay, hold on. Oh fuck, he's been back. Why'd you go back? You know when you're watching XP level 3, it's really entertaining because he bounces around a lot. Super good, no shade. But when you're trying to reference his videos, you're like shit. Okay, all right, we're good. Okay, we're locked in. Okay, so now at 10th level, instead of tireless, which I said have just shifted, 10th level is Nature's Veil. Go ahead.
You invoke spirits of nature to magically hunt yourself. As a bonus action, you can give yourself invisible condition until the end of your next turn. You can use this feature twice per long rest. So for the duration of your next turn, so you do everything in combat, you go, ah! And the ferns make you the predator.
Fuck yeah.
The alien version, not the Dr. Disrespect version.
Oh shit! I just saw a video on it the other day.
I guess we were on Twitch. I shot him in his own home.
Dang, dude, you killed that man.
I think other people have done it for me, and he's still gonna make money. But invisibility condition, not a long-standing one, not like the spell, not like the anything else, but it's for your next turn, which I think is notable and good.
Yes. This is also directly from Tasha's Cauldron, so nothing super unique in terms of what I created, but definitely still, I really like this feature. I think it's a very just kind of fun ranger flavor ability, so throw it in there for some fun. All right, let's continue. So 11th level subclass feature, nothing super notable. 12th level ability score improvement. Of course, you know the vibes. 13th level, no feature. Actually, there was a feature here. I got rid of it to kind of, yeah, I know. Don't cry. I got rid of it at 13. Wait, what did you say?
I said I'm gonna.
Oh.
Right.
So at 13th level, I mean, to be fair, also keep in mind that for Ranger's Quarry, at 5th level, you're also getting a damage increase. 9th level, you're getting a damage increase. 13th level, you're getting a damage increase. So you're still getting things also sprinkled in with these features. Also at 13th level, you are getting your access to your first 4th level spell. So I figured at 13th level, not having a feature, you'll be all right. So
that is a good, because just getting that spell sometimes feels a lot better. 4th level spell for Ranger, I don't know. Doesn't go that hard, but it is still it is better. It is a better selection.
It is a better selection, and I also Yeah, I had to kind of, like I said, I went over this version a couple times and just like kind of chopped a couple things away just because I was like, because you got to think like, once you just hit even level 10, you're sitting pretty sturdy with just abilities and fun things that you can do. So 13th level, I figured it'd be fine to get away with it. But at 13th level for them, at the 2024 version for Wizards of the Coast, taking damage. Oh, here we go, guys. Taking damage can no longer break your concentration on Hunter's Mark. At 13th level, it took you that long to get that. If you want to focus on dealing damage, nothing so pedestrian as a fireball can stop you. You can now only lose concentration on Hunter's Mark if you become incapacitated or fucking die.
Which, with their power scaling, with how they're doing things, I get it, cool, got it. At that point, you are doing your best to possess a D6 extra damage.
And yeah, that's a very good point. At 13th level, for this spell that you're able to use to catch up to other classes' damage thresholds, thank God at 13th level now you can maintain your 1d6 extra damage. Even though the wizard's casting, like, I don't know, Psychic Lance.
At 13th level? Yeah. I think Psychic Lance is absolutely on the table.
Yeah, like, they're gonna do, like, 8d12 psychic damage and blow their fucking brain
absolutely is on the table.
So, well, because you cast Psychic Lance and you were level 9 with Virden. Or something. Or
exactly, 10. That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
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 I'm like, I remember this spell very clearly.
Yeah, so, hell yeah, brother. So it's 13th level, Relentless Hunter. Dog shit. Nature's Veil for level 14 for the Wizards of the Coast version. You can now turn invisible as a bonus action. This invisibility lasts until it's Nature's Veil is essentially my 10th level version of Nature's Veil, and I moved Nature's Veil to 10th level because that's a lower level feature. I feel like 14th level for you to be invisible for a turn is not 14th level worthy. I don't, you know, like I don't. That's just such a high. It's just so high.
It is.
I'm trying to see if I can keep moving here. And then also at 14th level, they even happen to mention Vanish is not a feature of the 2014 Ranger. Instead, the class gets the aforementioned Nature's Veil. So I don't even what was Vanish? I think Vanish was like you can. I think Vanish was you literally Vanish. Oh yeah, starting at 14th level. You can use the hide action as a bonus action on your turn. That's right. The 2014 version at 14th level, you can finally, as a bonus action, hide. Thank God.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good, dude. That's pretty. That's us.
Don't want to be broken, baby.
On the up, dude.
Ranger, classically broken class. You do not want to.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, power scaling important. You gotta make sure you really just bring the thresholds down. So, hey, but if you would go ahead and do me the honor of reading the 14th level.
Feral Sense on 14th level. Oh, also, yes, I'll do that. Feral Sense. Your connection to the forces of nature has expanded your perception and discernment of the world around you, granting you dark vision within a range of 30 feet. If you already have dark vision from another feature or an ability, Feral Sense adds another 30 feet to that range. Additionally, if you gain blind sight within a range of 30 feet, you gain blind sight within a range of 30 feet. If you already have blind sight from an ability, Feral Sense adds another 30 feet to that range. Great, love it, awesome. Anything I can do to play Daredevil in D&D, I support.
So real quick, I do want to say that I actually forgot to adjust it before I sent it. I meant to bring it down to 15 feet for blind sense or blind sight. Only because blind sight's extremely.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, it's extremely good. And I also was realizing that if you have dark vision at 30 feet and blind sight at 15 or 30 feet, blind sight kind of negates dark vision because you can literally fucking perceive literally whatever you want in front of you, kind of with this like kind of supernatural or just kind of understanding of what's in the space beyond. So I wanted to drop it down. Feral Sense also is an ability that I actually copy and pasted and threw to the Druid as well, because I thought this was a cool kind of fun, kind of like mystical, kind of like nature, like primal way to kind of give some cool kind of perception buffs to these classes. So I have Feral Senses in the Druid as well. It's actually at 9th level. And for the Druid, it's actually 60 feet of dark vision and then also within 30 feet of blind sight. So it's a little bit better.
That makes sense.
And the reason why I did that was just to kind of mainly, just mainly show how kind of deeper connected the druid is to nature, just inherently. So those are kind of the notes for that. But yeah, I also dropped Feral Sense to 14th level. You'll see here later that it's like 18th level for the Ranger, and I was like, that is whack as fuck. So let's continue. Oh yes, here we go. So what level are we on? Okay, so we're jumping a little bit. We're jumping a little bit. So now they're on 17th level in the video. So 15th level subclass feature, of course. 16th level ability score improvement. I would also just like to say, as we get into the 17th level, I don't know why Wizards of the Coast doesn't add everything in chronological order. I find it kind of lazy, and I find it visually displeasing when, like, at 4th level, it says, oh, also at 8th, 12th, 16th, 17th, whatever, you get ability score improvements. I like, yes, you can mention that, but I like also seeing it as I progress.
Breaking it down. Reminder as you're going through.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so that way when I look at it, I'm not like, wait, why is there a gap here? Wait, hold on, let me go read this table. Let me, like, have to decipher. It's like...
Even if it's just saying, like, 17th level, oh, improvement to this ability.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's something. That's, you know, letting you know.
That's what I did with the fighter, because the fighter gets indomitable for 2 uses, action surge 2 uses. I literally just wrote it out again, said you now can use indomitable twice. Like, I wrote it out because visually it's like, oh, I get to see more stuff right now, and I get to actually feel like I'm progressing things instead of having to look, not see anything, go to the table, be like, oh, okay, and then like do all this weird. It's like, why didn't you just take the 5 seconds? It took me literally 12 seconds to copy and paste it, back down, and add it. I did. I had a stopwatch.
I would believe that.
Yeah, I did it, bro. Okay, so Precise Hunter. Oh boy, level 17 for Wizards of the Coast. If a creature is marked by Hunter's Mark, you have advantage on attacks against them. By this level, you have 6 free castings of the Hunter's Mark spell. So if you want to focus on dealing damage, Precise Hunter will help you slay your enemies.
17th level?
17th level. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
can you cast it 6 times at once?
No, but no, you can cast it once though, and yeah, and you can just have this advantage on one creature. You can do it. You can deal your 1d6 extra damage, and thank God you don't have to roll a concentration saving throw when you get smited by the Eldritch Demon that's doing 703 damage to you at 17th level on 1 hit. So.
Yeah, Rangers suck, unfortunately.
But
your 17th level.
Oh, but by all means, go ahead and read.
Unimpeded Navigator. So damage dealing, for sure in this one, I'm excited. Traversing any and all types of terrain has become a second nature. No longer afflicted by difficult terrain, and this benefit is extended to the party while calculating movement through difficult terrain for navigating and traveling. That's a pretty... If you think about it, it is a fairly large boon. I don't know if other 14 or 24 has that in there.
So I kind of got Unimpeded Navigator kind of going back to kind of Landstride from 2014, as we were kind of mentioning earlier. So Landstride and Natural Explorer in the 2014 version is where I got inspiration for this, because in 2014, Natural Explorer, it literally says difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel, your group doesn't become lost except by magical means, and excuse me. Thank you. But so I kind of just took a little blend and kind of just tied it together to kind of fill it in, because actually the I think in the Unearthed Arcana there was no 17th level feature, so I kind of threw this in just for a little bit of flavor and just for a little bit of fun.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
I get it. But...
Go ahead.
I get it. But also, as we're talking, the game is steering away from navigation a little bit. So having this where it's like, oh, because difficult terrain, so there's kind of 2 versions of this, and a very dense and a very small, I should say. It is dense in its content. You are no longer affected by difficult terrain. So anything at all, no, because it did have the effect earlier where, like, you can move through plants, says whatever, you're not affected by the difficult terrain. Now, if, like, the ground is shattering before you, because Garthal the Everwatcher punched the ground and now it's creating shockwaves, and mechanically it's difficult terrain, you walk through that shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. So that's good. Issue. There's also the party benefit of just traveling through maybe like the Scarred Realms or whatever. It's like, we gotta be careful with all these different hazards. The Ranger's like, direct line right through it, fuck it, we ball. And the party's able to move through that.
And yeah, and I like that you pointed that out, because this kind of was my idea, right? 17th level, I feel like, is where you're kind of, I mean, if you're playing 17th level, there's like, obviously you're doing some crazy shit. So I do think that not being affected by difficult terrain is basically the spell freedom of movement at all times. Like, you can just run through, and like, I feel like at 17th level, there's a lot of crazy combats, there's a lot going on. That frees up a lot of your movement. And then, yeah, I think that as you go through and you kind of delve farther in campaigns, there's a lot of, like, you know, things get kind of harsher and stuff. And so I felt like by 17th level, you should definitely, as a ranger, be able to just get your party through, because of just how well-versed you are, traveled you are, and how well you are navigating. So that's kind of where my inspiration for that was.
I agree, yeah.
All right.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Okay, so don't worry. Don't worry. 18th level versus the coast, feral senses. Don't worry. Now at 18th level, you have blindside for 30 feet. Thank God. Thank God.
It is, I will say, blindside at 30 feet is good. Don't get me wrong. Blindside's fantastic. It's a great ability to have.
Yep.
That's the end of the sentence.
Yeah, it's a good ability to have. Not at 18th level when you're fighting the ancient red dragon Garthax in his lair with his minion kobolds that are trying to shank your asshole 100 times a second.
Well, now you're gonna know they're coming up to shank your asshole.
Well, no, that's good, but I feel like you should have known that a while ago, maybe a couple levels earlier. Yeah. You should probably be more aware of the surroundings. I don't know. That's
fair. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where that came in. Okay, so 18th level. Oh yeah, useless, or not useless, but very poor placement for that feature. Cool feature though.
I agree.
All right, so 18th level do they not have an 18th level? Oh, they don't. What the hell? Okay, so 18th level, they don't have one. Oh no, they do have one. That's feral senses. Okay, so this is probably like my baby here in terms of.
I can tell by how extensive.
This is my baby in terms of this, and actually Master of the Wilds at the very end are my babies. Not to say that many people will probably see these because they are towards the end. But Connor, 18th level, enhanced marking. Go ahead.
You have reached a heightened peak with your bond to the primal forces and energy of nature, allowing you to maintain and enhance the powers that have been gifted. The quarry that you mark is destined reach its end one way or another. You gain the following benefit. Extended marking. The range of your ranger's quarry feature is now increased to 300 feet. Enhanced marking. Whenever you mark a creature with your ranger's quarry feature, you can now apply one of the following effects. So there's 4 options. Splitting mark. The mark affects 2 creatures within the range instead of 1. Shared mark. Choose one friendly creature within 30 feet of you at the time of marking a creature. That designated creature now gains the benefits of the mark during the duration, or until the duration ends. Tracking mark. The duration of the mark is increased to 24 hours, and the radius in which the mark stays active is increased to 50 miles. Additionally, the creature affected by the spell can be seen as a silhouette regardless of the terrain or obstacle that separates you with 500. Weakening mark. The marked creature becomes vulnerable to one type of damage that you choose from the following list for 1 minute. Acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. Enhanced markings can be used twice and regain all exploded uses when you finish a long rest. Gangster. Love it. No notes. It's awesome. The only thing that sucks about it is I can't split, share, track, and weaken at once. That's it. It makes a ton of sense, especially flavored as it's the forces of nature. Like, you're kind of hearkening to those to aid you in this moment and with what you're. Weakening mark could be absolutely brutal on types of bosses.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about, like, if you expend that, like, players taking the hit, be like, I'm gonna do less damage, but this creature's gonna be vulnerable to lightning damage because you got the Tempest Cleric who's about to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, like, I'm gonna let you shine. I love the splitting and shared mark are really good. Tracking mark can be really good in those out of combat situations, and then of course having it just the range increased, awesome.
Right.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. I 100%. Yeah, and the big thing with the weakening mark, I kind of thought of actually as an afterthought, because like that'd be really badass. Especially if you know it's vulnerabilities and immunities and stuff too. You could also like do some fun, like maybe a creature's immune to something, and you're like, actually you're vulnerable, and just like do some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And the reason, dude.
Sorry, I just thought like you're fighting the lava monster lair. He's walking in magma, and you're just like, what's he immune to? Fire? He's vulnerable now. He's a
dude, hell yeah.
My house! It hurts!
Dude, hell yeah, exactly. I just think 18th level, dude, you're going to be fighting some crazy shit. And I just think that, like, I mean, I will say, so do you think 1 minute for vulnerability is too much?
I think for vulnerabilities, based off the exact example I gave, that could be, in a very specific situation, could be crazy.
Yes.
So, again, maybe make it a saving throw.
Okay.
That is a pretty good all-around thing. And maybe make it so they could re-roll that one every so often. But I don't think it's bad at all. I think it's good and important to have something that powerful at 18th. Because I'm sure there's abilities like Hex, you know, that already do something like this, but it's a saving throw.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The thing with Hunter's Mark is that it's cast happens. But the other things with Hunter's Mark, where it's like, it affects 2 creatures. Sure. Shared Mark, you give the benefits to somebody else, they're also going to do that damage. Cool. No problem at all. Tracking Mark is, you know, whatever. You're going to track somebody. You got in range to cast it on somebody, you're following them. That's just cool. Weakening Mark might be something with a saving.
Yeah, the March creature must
potential for damage.
The March creature makes a Wisdom saving throw. Okay, so these are my thoughts. I don't, so since you're only gonna use it twice, what I was actually thinking is I like the saving throw for the immunities and other stuff the Mark creature makes. 1 second, I'm just gonna reset this. The Mark creature makes the Mark creature here becomes vulnerable to 1. Okay. Why is this so weird? Hold on, I'm just gonna literally do this so that way I can. All right. I think I did it. Additionally, you gain violence with a range of 15 feet. Oh, okay, that's what I did. All right, sorry. I'm thinking what I think what I want to do with this is almost kind of take a little bit out of the Grave Cleric's book. And what I think I might do is I think what I'll do is make it the next attack. The next attack, it becomes vulnerable to those damage. Does that make sense? So the Mark creature becomes vulnerable to 1 damage type that you choose from the following list. Let's say for the next round.
Okay. Next round makes sense. How many casts? Because we get 2 casting. So here's an important thing. Enhanced marking. So you don't have to use enhanced marking. It's a type of Hunter's Mark you're adding. Right? You're adding enhanced markings if you're casting Hunter.
Yeah, whenever you mark a creature with your Ranger's Quarry feature, you can apply one of the effects.
Okay. So enhanced marking isn't a different battery. Like you're using all your Hunter's Quarry, you have 4. Going through your enhanced marks. So you're burning one of them, you're burning one of your enhanced markings to add this effect to a creature.
Yeah.
Okay, dude, the thing is, I like the long-term weakening effect. I like debuffs. Debuffs are really cool. And if you do a long-term one, that's fun. Maybe, because one thing I'm playing with in my head, I'm just trying to think about how difficult it might become for the DM to track is, instead of becoming vulnerable, it takes a step down. So if they were immune, they're now resistant. It's now vulnerable. If they were vulnerable, what now? They just die immediately. But that seems like an unnecessary amount of just like Excel spreadsheets to, I mean, not that bad, but you know, still. I like the idea of a debuff here. I don't know. I think a rule that they have to keep passing at the beginning of their turn, at the beginning of or something like that, so it is kind of them dependent makes sense. Also, without adding concentration to your ability, it puts it in their hands a little bit to pass the check.
Okay, so I think I like those ideas. I do think that I don't necessarily want to leave it up to a saving throw, only because that can just feel kind of shitty. And that at 18th level, I feel like this is a cool ability, and I think that you should get a little bit of of a thing out of it, for the resource that it is. So what I put is the marked creature becomes vulnerable to one damage type that you choose from the following list till the start of your next turn.
Okay.
That way it's almost that way a full round of combat can go, and then it's nullified.
Okay, that makes some. Yeah, I like that. It's choosing instead of one of these more long-term things where you get those extra d6s, trading one of those in to let the party just fucking hammer it out. You know, like you plan this, like they're gonna be immune to radiant, so you let the paladin just obliterate him with smite.
Yes.
Just send it home.
So that's another thing too. Also, I don't know if maybe I need to clarify this feature that when this mark happens, it's an addition to your damage. Like
okay.
Like whenever you apply an enhanced mark, you get all of your normal Ranger's Quarry on top of your on top of this. But I will say, and the reason, and I was very specific in why I chose acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. Mainly because I feel like those are a little bit more ambiguous damage types, and so it'd take a little bit more effort or coordination to make those happen. Whereas, like,
no, I agree.
For radiant damage can be pretty easily accessible, especially since they added, so for the smites you can no longer do that. Necrotic, a lot of these like very powerful spells.
You thunderous smite. Bitch prone too.
Thunderous smite for sure, but I didn't want to throw in bludgeoning, slashing, piercing, because that kind of makes it a little bit more
thing.
So I think it's a balance. I think it's balanced now because I think
they're kind of the basic things if you think about it. With the exception of acid, they're all very natural.
Yes, exactly. That's another reason too. So I think that's good. 1 minute, that's insane. A boss would die in 1 minute at 18th level.
Well, I mean, traditional D&D, that's 10 turns.
True.
Which means if that gets cast on me, I don't know what the wizard's doing. Beat the fuck out of that ranger real quick if I'm the fucking boss.
True.
It's like, ow, the ice hurts more. Fucking kill that guy. All right, I want ice to hurt the regular amount.
Hell yeah. I will. Before I publish this, kind of out there, I will consider maybe even still making this I like where it's at now, but we'll see. I might play around with it a little bit more. So
yeah, makes sense.
Because vulnerability is extremely good, and so you got to be kind of careful with the balancing with that. But overall, yes, enhanced marking. I love all the options. I think that they're all viable in different ways, and I think that they all kind of have agency in certain areas. Obviously, Weakening Mark, I feel like will be definitely a fan favorite. But I think Weakening Mark is definitely one of those ones that you choose against a big single boss. Whereas, like, Splitting Mark, you might do for, like, more of a mob in scenario. Shared Mark, if you maybe would need a buddy to, certain things. Like, they're all viable.
I think Shared Mark, if you're setting something up and you and the rogue are going up somewhere, maybe you're a Gloomstalker and he's an assassin rogue, cast the Shared Mark so he gets to do the Hunter's Mark with his assassin's damage and everything, and you get to jump before they fire, you get your Gloomstalker off. Like, that could be an incredible synergy.
Yeah.
But also just in the middle of combat, it's like, Shared Mark fighter, get him!
Yeah. 100%. I actually adjusted Shared Mark too because before I had it so it only gained the damage benefit. But I was like, that's no fun. They should get all the benefits. So just to clarify, Shared Mark, the creature that it's shared with also gets advantage on tracking it and all those things too. So like you were kind of mentioning with the rogue too. All right, let's keep going so we can kind of wrap this up. 19th level. Okay, so 18th level. Yeah, 19th level for the Wizard of the Coast is gain epic boon feat. Epic boons are feats that require you to be at least 19th level. You will have 12 to choose from. You can select any epic boon you like, but the 2024 Player's Handbook recommends Boon of Dimensional Travel. Increase one ability score by 1 up to a maximum of 30. And immediately after you take the attack or magic action, you can teleport up to 30 feet.
Do you see Blink?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like...
Misty Step.
Or Misty Step, yeah. Epic Boon's kind of a cool concept, but also like it's 19th level, and I feel like just like, oh, you get to choose a boon, so it's, I mean, I like that there's a list. I think it's kind of cool. It makes it a little more customizable. I'm always a fan of customizing things, but I also think like, come on, like just make some shit unique for your class.
I think boons in the 2014, this is like a loose memory, I have to double check, but I believe they were like something like recommended to give your party after 20th level. Like that's how they were flavored before. They're like, oh, if your party got to this level, they like you want to give them some benefits. Here's an option of things. Boons is what they were called. I remember.
I don't know if that might have been in the DMG or what, because I don't necessarily remember. I remember like vaguely kind of what you're saying, but I don't quite remember exactly what it was.
Let me rhythm this tism here.
Rhythm that tism. I'm about to read you the 20th level feature for Ranger Wizard of the Coast.
Believe me, I am listening on bated breath.
Alright. Foe Slayer, level 20. Hunter's Mark, get this. 20th level now deals 1d10 force damage on a hit instead of 1d6. Making sure we're keeping up, making sure we're keeping up with damage at 20th level. Make sure we're getting it in. Between favored enemy giving you free castings of the spell, Relentless Hunter protecting your concentration from being broken, and Precise Hunter giving you advantage on marked targets, the level 20 Ranger is now a master combatant. We did it, guys.
He's pretty good at this point.
We did it, guys. Level 20, guys. Wizard of the Coast 2024 version of Ranger. All you have to do is hit level 20, and you can deal a little bit of damage. And basically do everything that my version of Ranger does at level like 6.
So, DM's Guide, page 231, Epic Boons. An Epic Boon is a special power available to only 20th level characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a thing there.
I was right.
I'm not gonna read the whole thing.
Yeah, but that's
right.
cool.
It was DM's Guide.
That's cool. I remember you said something about that, but I was like, I never seen it in the normal book, so it had to have been in the DMG that I don't ever.
Yeah, because why would we read that shit?
Yeah, that shit's irrelevant.
I've been DMing for years. You think I need somebody to tell me to lie?
Weird. Okay, so anyway, level 20, you're just kind of like a better version than level 1, slightly better version than level 1 Ranger for their version of Wizard of the Coast.
Yeah, it's not good.
Shit's here. Okay, my other baby, level 20, Master of the Wilds. Connor, read it, please.
Years of training, practicing, and doing has made you the epitome of a hunter. You can navigate, traverse, track, stalk, and kill from far beyond the best. Assisted by your deep-rooted connection to nature, you gain the following benefit. When a creature is marked by your Ranger's Quarry feature, you now understand any means of communication that it might use to interact with you or those around you. Communicate back to that creature in the same manner, unimpeded. So, I like the idea of talking to a sentient that with Awakening was cast on it, and it's losing its mind. If your attack roll misses a target that's marked with the Quarry, you can add your Wisdom modifier to the attack roll, potentially turning it into a hit. Additionally, whenever you hit your marked creature with an attack roll and deal damage to it, you can add your Wisdom modifier to the damage. Great. Choose 3 skills from the following list to gain expertise in, even if not previously proficient. Animal handling, investigation, perception, nature, stealth, or survival. That's a 20th level ability right there, because it's also, you got a D12 with your system. So a D12.
Yep, with the Ranger's Quarry.
Yeah, that's fantastic. The attack roll misses. Adding that. So really, yeah, you don't want to just add it to your abilities. You don't want to be like, oh, I have a plus 12 to hit. You do want to be like, only when the Ranger's Quarry is active, just on the fringe cases. You don't want to, I'm just thinking about, I'd tell my push, just add it to your thing, but that's not true. Make sure it's with the Ranger's Quarry.
Yeah.
But adding your Wisdom modifier to the hit, again, with the Quarry is huge, because instead of being a D12, it's a plus 3, or whatever the number is. That's pretty big, because that's reliable damage.
Exactly, and the reason why, and I would say the additional damage from your Wisdom modifier, I'd say is kind of just an afterthought in this. I think the big moneymaker for that is essentially, if you're a 20th level Ranger, I'd assume your Wisdom modifier is probably 20, or is probably plus 5. So that's automatically, at this point, you can now add your Wisdom modifier to the attack roll, potentially turning it into a hit. That's a plus 5 baseline for anything that's marked by your Ranger's Quarry.
I would assume, for me, if I had a Ranger that was level 20, I wouldn't expect it to be much higher than 16. Only because I'm maxing dexterity. Maybe with your system, I would prioritize Wisdom more. Wisdom's shining.
Yeah,
a good bit
that's
more.
true.
But normally dexterity is going up because that's what you're interacting with the world war. Also, that's just how D&D 5e is. Dexterity's king.
That's true. But regardless, you know, this is also one of those things too where maybe you will dump more into wisdom because of the multiple abilities and this kind of stuff. But even then, a +3 to hit, I mean, you're obviously level 20, you're probably already sitting at probably a +11, but like even like to hit at that higher echelon of play is super powerful.
A +3 longsword is an artifact or a legendary weapon.
Right.
That is massive. Getting a +3, also when you're using an ability like that, is really good. You also should have a +3 longbow or dual swords or whatever the hell you're using. But, you know, so yeah, you're right. The +11 to hit is not unreasonable. And then you add this on top.
Right, and then this also extremely benefits your if you were to do a split mark too, because then you now have 2 creatures that you're dealing that you now have a higher chance to hit, and you're dealing more damage baseline. So.
Yeah, that baseline damage is always good. So what I like about this too is, for one, understand the means to communicate. It's very flavorful. I think it's hilarious that at level 20 you become so in tune with nature. It's now tragic every time you hunt for food.
That's true, I guess.
That's pretty funny. But also, yeah, it also can add a lot of things. Like the DM could play with that too. It's now you're truly understanding the pit fiends you're hunting, and you understand something else awry here. Getting expertise, getting 3 things with expertise, even if not previously proficient, is awesome. Why would I be proficient in animal handling? I don't know. But now you have expertise if you want. That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, depending on how you're playing your character, how you're playing the ranger, and what subclasses. Being proficient in survival or in investigation. I like those a lot. I think it's a bunch of things to capstone the class. I don't know if you're gonna turn your level 19 into borrowing the boon system that they have. So I don't know if that's tying into a lot of the other classes.
That's kind of what that's what they're doing. Like in the 2024 handbook, they're kind of doing this whole 19th level is your epic boon or whatever. Or you can choose an epic boon, I guess. I think 19th level for a lot of classes is an ability score improvement, but now they're also letting you choose an epic boon. It just depends. If I get access to all the epic boon lists, then I wouldn't mind maybe incorporating it. But also, I will say, you know, I really enjoy making some of these higher level abilities, but I also kind of have the understanding that very, very infrequently would these ever be actually accessible to players, because
I will prove you wrong once in my life.
Hey, we'll see. Hopefully. Oh, what? Hey, once in our lives for sure. I mean, come on now, we got a lot of D&D to play.
I don't know. I drive reckless.
Oh fuck! He said I'm on a timeline, baby. I needed this shit stat.
Yeah, we need this. We need this in the next thing. But no, I think even if realistically, say your games only go from level 3, because I think most experienced players start at level 3. Say level 3 to level 9. That's kind of the ballpark you play in. You kind of start a new campaign at that point. I still love looking at level 20 shit and making a plan for that. Like, oh, at level 14 you get this ability. That's gonna go crazy, you know. It's like it just lets you kind of be aspirational about the character you're making.
Yes.
Theory crafting like that, like on paper, I made a character who's insane. The character I'm playing isn't there yet, but like when I get there, holy shit, that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And of course, in D&D, the story changes. You know, you were gonna do this, maybe you grabbed a multi-class, maybe you got a piece of gear that was so impactful to your character that you're kind of building the future levels around them or something. But it's like having a good level 20, a good level 14, a good level 10 ability. I think they're important, even if you don't grab them, just so they're there. And you know, like, ooh, if I get high enough, holy shit, I get to play in that ballpark.
I love that because I 1000% agree, because I think it's really fun to speculate. I also think like having awesome later level of features kind of makes you feel a little bit more confident in your class. Like, oh, there is like that potential. Like, oh, if we were to play this long, then we'd be able to, then maybe I'd be able to achieve that. And one point that I want to emphasize with what you said is if you have amazing, awesome, fun, unique capstone abilities, it really helps keep your players focused on a class. And not to say I think multi-classing is bad, or or wrong or whatever. I do think that multi-classing can be kind of frustrating as a DM, where people are always trying to like kind of min-max and stuff, which is totally fine. But I think there's something to be said where it's like, I think that if a player wants to just play Ranger or Wizard or Paladin, I don't think they should necessarily be punished. Where it's like, if you want a multi-class, like, oh, I want to be a rogue and a fighter or whatever, so I can blend some of these early things and kind of make this new unique build. For sure, do that. But I think that for multi-classing, at least for like the 2014 and kind of as we've seen over time, I feel like, especially with the 2014, multi-classing was almost a must to gain certain power, to kind of almost be able to catch up with the threats that you're going to fight. Whereas with this Ranger, and hopefully with some of these other classes that I continue to revise and do, it makes you want to stick with the class at least a little bit. Or maybe there's a little bit of heartbreak when you're like, oh, I'm going to give up a couple classes or a couple levels in Ranger to multi-class. And so I hate to see this go, but I'm going to do it for the benefit of kind of the build I want. I would rather there be a little bit of heartbreak and a little bit of like, oh, that's a cool feature, but this go around, I'm gonna just sacrifice it instead of being like, "Oh, that shit sucks. I don't even need it." Like,
yeah, no, for sure. I think there's plenty of people who gamify the game, that's how it's gonna go.
Yeah,
it's a game. But yeah, like sticking with a class should give you a massive benefit at level 20. You stuck with it. You did it. Here you go. Congrats. At the same time, multi-classing has its utilities, has its uses. If you like multi-classing, kudos. I also enjoy it, especially when you have a build type in mind.
Right.
But I feel like multi-classing to be optimal should be an exception, not the rule.
Right.
But
like you have to be like to have these fun features or to truly unleash your build. I don't think that should be the case, and that's where I'm kind of getting a lot of enjoyment actually going through and doing all these, because I'm revising every single core class of D&D in some way or another. I do think I will give credit where credit is due. Wizards of the Coast, you fucking sucked shit at making the Ranger, so obviously here we are. But in terms of like the Barbarian, awesome overhaul. Fighter, bunch of cool, super little flavorful things that you've added, incorporated it. Give credit where credit is due. And so some of these classes, I'm really not doing a whole lot. Rogue, I'm literally switching like 2 features. Like I'm switching a 7th level and 11th level. I'm swapping them places, and that's it, because I love what they did with the Rogue. And so I will give credit where credit is due. But there are some lackluster things. For instance, Ranger, Druid. There's a couple things for Druid that I incorporated, because I don't know. I just think that, like, yes, a full caster does get a lot of its identity from its main spells, but that doesn't mean you don't sprinkle in a little bit of flavor and give them something.
Right. Yeah, they get utility from their core abilities. They get utility from their spells. They don't need to lean so hard on one because they're failing at the other. Like, even Wizard has pretty fun abilities that, like, aid their spells or change their spells to do this, but that's also... But, like, there's a reason to play an Abjuration Wizard over an Evocation chanting from it. There's a reason to differentiate, even though it's all spells, baby. But there's a different...
Oops, all spells.
Yeah, oops, all spells. That's the character. That's fun. Like, I played a Blade Singer, which is walking a little bit backwards into the martial category, but it was fun, and the ability to use my spells. I would have been a more effective spellcaster by picking Evocation, And there's a strong difference there. And with Ranger, like, as a core class, it's like, and then subclasses don't. They haven't traditionally done that much. It's almost felt like there's holes in the ship, and we're trying to plug them.
Yeah.
And different, like, what type of quirk would you like to use? Because that's a subclass. So
I agree.
Hopefully it's good. I didn't go through the new subclasses. I'm sure they are. If I recall, they did a pretty good job with most of the subclasses in 2024. Reading through them.
I actually. Oh yeah, that's right.
I didn't like Beastmaster. I remember in the Unearthed Arcana, but I
don't know if you remember, but I actually did revise Beastmaster.
Yes, I remember that.
That was because I think that a lot of the subclasses really didn't need a whole lot of help, but as Ranger was as a core class and how much help it needed, that was also the Beastmaster, because the Beastmaster was atrocious. Which I will also say, with this now baseline Ranger, you could realistically probably use the Unearthed Arcana Beastmaster and still be okay because of how much you're getting now from base Ranger. But I still revise the Beastmaster because I didn't like how it functioned necessarily. I think that there should have been a little more there, which I added. So
yeah, I remember they changed it. Like, there's 3 different types of creature you could use. Cause Fae. Wait, what? No. Why would I want that?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna get into that because I fixed it and I made it more enjoyable. So
Understandable.
100%. But that's it. I want to play this ranger now 100%. So I might have to do it next go around. But any last minute notes or anything? I will say I do think that the I don't know. I might not make the Nature's Insight a saving throw. I kind of like the fact that it's just is like one of those things. I mean, I understand as a DM it can be frustrating. I'll think on it, but I do think that it's not really it's not a very well what's the word? That kind of feature or ability is not very common, and I don't even know if there's a spell that necessarily even will allow you to do that. So to have the ranger have that little insight makes it a very beneficial class to have in your party.
Sure, yeah, no, I agree. I think when it comes to information like that, I think checks, throws, things like that are important to have, but it is kind of your discretion. You know, it's whatever is going to make the most sense to you.
Yeah, I'll definitely ponder that orb over a little bit and just to see what I will also say as a quick note though, I did add maneuvers to fighter already, and actually in the Battlemaster subclass there was I think it's I forget what it's called, but there's a feature that does actually the exact same thing too, where you use a bonus action with the creature within 30 feet and you actually learn those same things. And so
right,
I kind of like that. I kind of like how that you now have a couple classes that give you these insights too, because I think that's kind of an unconventional advantage that not very often is exposed in D&D combat. Usually you find these things out as you're kind of, throwing stuff at it, but to have a class that's like, hey, I got this, like I can tell you these things is extremely beneficial.
I fully agree. I know Pathfinder has, I think, the Oracle and maybe the Investigator that are classes that specialize in that thing, but also Pathfinder's the type of system where I think there's 20 different classes.
Oh, jeez.
With a fuck ton of subclasses. So, they get expansive quick for no goddamn reason. So they have classes that do that type of thing, but they also... I don't see the fucking one.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's all she wrote. I will be making this publicly accessible for those that want to playtest this. For those that do playtest it, please by all means leave any sort of feedback in description, or not description, but comments, or on the post that I'll make eventually that has the PDF for this. Obviously, I did my absolute best when it comes to balancing and stuff, but really, truly through playtesting, can you kind of understand and kind of find some more fine-tuning things. So any feedback, of course, is always accepted and appreciated. So, but I will.
You send me fucking feedback, I'll hit you. Don't do it to me.
That shit. So you can send it to me.
Yeah, I accept none.
Yeah, Connor is. He just says, yeah. Whoop. Close. Build the wall. Good to go.
Horse blinders, baby.
Horse blinders. True. He says, this is it.
Tunnel vision.
All right. Well, that's all.
Drive better.
You drive. This fan says, I actually just looked through. Like when you roll up the piece of paper and you just you look through the piece of paper. Not a telescope. It's just a piece of paper. It's not magnification. Okay. You just use Jack Sparrow's periscope. Yeah, that's how he drives. Yeah. That's why we have to have him play level 20 character sooner or later, because he's a maniac.
Yeah, I do that and I go 80 in a school zone, so.
Yep. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Appreciate everyone who tuned in, who watched. Once again, always appreciative of you, the support. And yeah, this was actually one of the things I was looking forward to most. One, so I could, rip into Wizards of the Coast just failing once again with this beloved class, but also to come with a solution, because I feel like that's a big thing. If you're gonna, if you have an issue with something, bitching about it's cool, but also solving the problem's even cooler. So that's kind of what the intention was here. Also, big shout out to XP Level 3 for the video that we used to reference it, because without that I would not have known how dog shit it was, and I would not have taken immediate action. So appreciate that. Also, hopefully maybe he will watch this video, or maybe just skim through it and see the updates, and hopefully get some inspiration if you so choose. But there's that. So anyway, check the Twitch schedule for upcoming episodes and streams, and we will catch you all later. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Or no, it's your choice.
Yeah.